and Cameron and Badmouse have talked about this. Okay,
They're idiots, dude. Don't even dare reference these two. They're clowns.
Okay, you think that Stefan Molynuex is a great philosopher?
Yeah,
he's a liar.
He uses great, fantastic arguments based on objective fact. Don't compare Cameron.
I saw like hundreds of examples where he was caught lying. Hi.
Yo.
I'd like to talk about some of the arguments I used because they were wrong, and it was basically the result of my nervous state because I hadn't debated anyone before.
You did really well, man.
So,
you did really, really well.
Yes, but your counter argument. And are you recording this?
Yes. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Alright, good. Because if I can't upload this, if this gets good, there's no point in me doing it.
Okay, but what's your counter argument?
I just need to refresh my memory. You said there's some communists that are pacifists and don't advocate what you advocate.
Not some communists, many communists.
Okay, that's fine. If they leave capitalists alone, we don't have a problem with them. Then we can actually work towards an Ancap society. Because that's the only difference between our ideologies.
As I said, there are non-violent ways to end capitalism and to fight the state. As I said, strikes, boycotts, sabotage, occupations.
Wait.
That's non-violent.
Sabotaging capitalists? Is that what you're saying?
Not capitalists, the machines.
Dude, come on. If we're going to do this, man, we got to be honest. You sound like a crazy person. That's initiating force on the capitalists. Are you serious? That's guerrilling warfare. What are you talking about? Oh my god.
If I go to a factory and I take a screw off a machine and stop it from working, I'm not initiating violence on anyone. I'm stopping that machine from working.
Do you call that pacifism? Being annoying? Interfering with someone's...
I'm interfering in the machine. I don't see
it's like you being a little prankster. You're going around playing little tricks on the capitalists, and you say, "Oh, we're not initiating force. That means we're moral." What the fuck? Is that seriously your argument, dude? Seriously, I can't do this again.
I don't see that as initiating force on anyone, as being violent on anyone.
Well, no, it isn't, I guess. But you're still interfering in the means of production. You're taking stuff that it's like you're interfering with their lives. How's that any better? It's not as bad as murder, but you're still in the way.
It's a way of protesting and cutting off the profits and forcing them to negotiate. Okay, it's a way of cutting off the profits.
All right, this is good. I can use this. All right, let's go on. What else have you got on the list?
Not even, don't even have to use sabotage. Just by occupying a factory and cutting off the profits of the workers of the. Screw it. That's a way of protest. That's protest. That is necessary.
You're trespassing on someone's property. Oh my god. Oh my.
I don't know.
Do you not understand what you're... This is acceptable for you? Like going into people's factories?
Yes, this is acceptable.
Why don't you just go in with clubs and hit them over the head? You're already there. That's what you want to do.
No, I don't want to kill the person. I want to force them to negotiate.
Force them to stop. Right, using force. That's not the anarchist way, dude. That's not how anarchists do shit. You call yourself an anarchist, all you do is call yourself a ruler.
I don't call myself an anarchist. I'm a communist.
Every fucking communist thinks exactly the same as you do, and they think they're so smart and clever and know what's best for everyone. You don't even got your lives in order. Holy shit. You're advocating trespassing, playing tricks on the capitalist class, and you're saying, oh, we're not hurting them. That's fine. Seriously.
What do you want us to do? We have a goal. We have...
I know all about your goals, dude. You want to smash the capitalist state. You want to use force, but then you say, oh, we're not using force. Why don't you just get your balls? If you want, this is what you want to do. Grab your balls and be honest about it and say you want to initiate force on the capitalist class.
Really? To you, everything is violence. Everything is violence. Everything is initiating force. But historically, they have used violence to impose capitalism.
Yeah, I know. Our history is a bloody mess. It's not just capitalists. It's religion. It's the state. It's sometimes the workers who get too out of control. I understand that history is full of violence and horrible things, but it doesn't mean we have to continue it. We can stop that.
Yes, That's why I believe in communism, because it's a radical change in society.
But what you don't understand, what my friends don't understand, is how much you're going to oppress people to get there. And that's just using more violence.
Tell me, there's a transition from a statist society to capitalist society, to anarcho-capitalist society.
Yes, it's happening now.
And there's, as I said, there's like a... And if you fight against the state by bitcoining or whatever, you're initiating force against us. What will you do?
How do I fight against if fighting against the state means stop paying taxes and not being victimized by them anymore? That's how the state ends. It doesn't end with us initiating violence on them. It ends when they stop initiating violence on us.
How does a government bureaucrat initiate violence on you?
It's in every legislation. It's in every law. If I get caught smoking, I go to jail. That's violence. If I don't pay my taxes, I go to jail. That's violence. That's the Ancap argument. It's not that the government is bad. It's because they use violence to get what they want. And communists do that as well. Communists will use violence to get what we want. So real anarchists are against rulers and exploitation and oppression through violence. Not through money, because money isn't violence.
Money isn't violence. I gave the example of the workers, the unionized workers. Basically, there's a region, and the workers are unhappy with their work conditions. There is unhappiness, discontent among the workers. So they decide to organize, to start forming a union. And the bosses, they know about this union.
What are you talking about? What does this have to do with my argument? You're just telling me a story. I'm telling you a very specific ethical argument here.
You said that money isn't power of violence, or can't generate oppression.
No, because it's just the thing. It's a piece of paper.
The piece of paper, no, but the value it carries, yes, can generate oppression.
Are you saying all valuable things create oppression? All that my computer is valuable. Is that oppressing people?
Things with value can be used to create oppression.
Is that what you're basing your ideology on? Can, maybes, shoulds?
Let me explain.
Dude, I've spent 6 hours talking to you. I'm convinced there's something wrong with you. You can't talk your way out of communism, man. You just can't. There's no communism anymore. It's dead. It's just you and a few idiots on YouTube. I only do this because it's fun for me, and it's funny.
It's just me and a few idiots on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nice touch with reality there, man. It's a few idiots. There's like 6
This is my reality, dude. This is my I've looked around. I'm very appreciative of you because you're the only person who has the balls to call me up. I appreciate that a lot, and you sound really, really intelligent. But you're saying some really messed up shit. Like, if I would read a killer who shot up a black community and said how much he hates blacks and how they all deserve to die, that's what you sound like. But you're replacing blacks with class.
May I speak? I was giving the example of like how a boss can
I don't want to
basically...
hear stories.
Then fine. By the way, you call me a piece of shit.
I said pieces of shit like you and Cameron is what I said. Because pieces of shit like you and Cameron are steering the population away from what we need to do.
And what do we need to do?
Call out bullshit for what it is. If people are using violence to achieve the goals, we have to say they're using violence to achieve the goals. They're just as bad or worse than the state, or the shooters who shoot racist people, or the religion idiots who target religious people. You're just initiating violence on another class. That's wrong.
How do you not end the state without using some sort of violence? Because, okay, there's 10,000 Ancaps in a country. They all stop paying taxes. The government will just go there and arrest them all and call them, they're just tax evaders.
Yeah, that's not ready. We're not ready. That wasn't the right time.
When will it be the right time?
We'll know. We'll fucking know. When you feel silly for putting that shirt on because you understand what it represents, then we know.
Then we know. Let me explain something to you. There's a state. There's capitalism. It's really powerful. It's everywhere. It has power. It has force. It has armies and tanks and police. And it can initiate violence on anyone. And we, communists, want to build a better society.
But you're not. You're initiating violence on the people you want to initiate violence on. It's the same shit.
Okay. Not sabotaging, not occupying. just mass strikes everywhere and boycott of everything capitalist, and just start to build a parallel system. What will capitalists do? If you cut off the source of income of the capitalists, I say 90%.
Capitalists are fine with you as long as you don't hit or hurt people or other capitalists or try to get in the way. Capitalists are fine; they might even get on your side. But we don't have a right to initiate a war on this capitalist class, which communists do.
There is already a war. It's called class struggle. Class from above, oppressed the class and below. And
yeah, and there's also a patriarchy and sexism and racism. It's just made up shit you use to justify your own violence. There's no class struggle for me. I've been in the lower class, in the middle class, and maybe when I'm older, I'll be in a higher class. Who cares? I might lose all my money and become the lower class again. It's just an assignment you put on someone based on their dollar value. Who cares? Money comes and goes.
Man, you're someone that doesn't understand things very much.
No, I understand a lot, okay? I've looked into this shit, and I've seen the opposite arguments against it. All the arguments you're using against me are the same arguments people before me, generations ago, have been used against communism. This is why it's dead. This is why the only people that are still around are people who directly gain from it. The thing is, you're not making any money from it. You're making your life worse for believing this stuff. This is the time where you should be like looking into other ideas as well and not assign something. It took me 7 years to come to this position, and I'm still not sure. But the more I talk to people like you, the more confident I am that this is the right path.
The more I talk to people like you, more confident I am. Actually, after talking to you, and I started to think a lot and look up for new information, and my position, I feel strengthened. I'm a communist.
I know that. I know this is a waste of time. I'm doing this for my audience and for my own enjoyment because it's funny. I know you guys are the enemy. You're so stuck in your ways, and you can't get out of it. There's something wrong with how your brain works. Like every racist, like every sexist, you're just another classist, and you have to invent this stuff to justify your own hatred. But I've seen this all the time. Cameron has the same issues. You're not the only guy on YouTube. It's just really sad.
Because my boss tells me to work, to do something. If I don't obey, I'm not being productive.
You mean if you don't do it? If you don't do it, why you use
I'm not obeying my boss.
Obeying, because he's the master, right? And you're the slave?
Holy crap. He's the boss in a company, gives the orders, right?
No.
No.
It's not an order. It's not an order. Army people give out orders. There's punishment if you don't do it. If they give me an order and I don't do it at work, there might be a good reason why I don't. I can just walk away. I might be able to change his mind. They're not orders.
It's not an order if your boss tells you make shoes for 2 hours. You know, it's just a polite request. Could you please make shoes for 2 hours, or I'm going to fire you?
Well, what do you think? They're at work. They're at work to make shoes for 2 hours, right?
Yes, but it's still an order. He's still telling them to do something.
Oh my God.
Doesn't matter if they're there willingly. It's still an order. Like if I go to a company and I'm not taking orders from anyone.
How did you just end up in a company? What, you just walked in? I'm in a company now. Isn't there?
If I'm hired by someone.
Yeah,
if I'm hired by someone and I go to my work in that company, in that factory, in that farm, whatever, so I'm not taking orders from anyone. My boss is politely requesting me to do something for a number of hours.
Yes.
And
Yes.
That's a matter of opinion.
No, it's not. When you get hired for a company, it includes some things. There's a resume, there's an interview, and then there's an agreement. All those things put together makes you aware that this is your decision. And so it's not so much an order, it's an agreement you two have made.
I made an agreement to work for, I don't know how much time for him. And in that agreement, if he's above me, if he's my boss, if he's my superior in the hierarchy, he can't give me orders, he can't tell me to do something.
Like do your job? Like what your interview was supposed to be based on?
I don't like it. What if he gives me an order and I don't like it?
You just don't like it because you don't like working?
Forget it. You think that bosses can't give orders to his workers?
No, they can't.
They can't.
There's no guns. It's an agreement. The state can do that. The government can do that. The police can do that. Bosses can't do that.
You can't do that with the state. Well, if my boss tells me to do something, I say, fuck no, I don't want to do it. What will my boss do? No, Fire me.
Yeah, you're probably not a good fit. Go home. Why the hell are you doing that? You're just wasting his time and money.
What if I don't like the order? What if I don't like what he's telling me to do? What if I think it's immoral? What if I think it's dangerous? What if I think it's not worth the wage I'm getting?
Well, then you're free to leave.
What if there is no other jobs? What if
we can go what ifs forever? What if there's no other jobs? What if your country's under repression? What if I get it? It doesn't give you any justification for doing what you do, dude. You can play the what if game forever. It's still a no.
It's a hypothetical situation. I'm asking you, will there be a justice system in an Ancap society?
Dude, you don't care about the what ifs. I can play the what ifs with you in communism as well, and you just give me more and more stories. If this is about ethics and behaviors, what people can and can't do, people can't initiate force on a class, or race, or sex. We disagree with that, okay? So I don't understand the point of you arguing with me when you're already accepting that you use violence upon me. You've already established that you're the tyrant in this relationship. I'm trying to reason with you. I'm trying to talk you out of this. But you're pretty adamant that you want to use oppression to get to where you are. So what the fuck? What's the point of me talking to you?
It's not oppression, it's resistance.
Yeah, I know. I know the way
you see it as oppression, I see it as resistance. You're a capitalist and you see it as oppression. You see it as oppressing you. Well, I see it as resisting. I see it as resisting a system that is unfair.
I know. This is how people justify what they do. The whites deserve it. The women asked for it. She wanted to be raped. This is what you're saying as well. The capitalists deserve it. We are the victims, not them. This gives me justification for initiating violence. It really doesn't, man. You're classist. You just hate rich people.
I don't hate rich people. I don't know very much a lot of rich people, and don't have any.
You don't need to know rich people to hate something. It's best if you don't know them, because otherwise you won't hate them anymore.
If bosses are so great, why that historically bosses have been oppressors?
That's just your version of history.
It's not my version of history. Look up history.
I have. I've seen great bosses, and I've seen some bad bosses. So what? Not all bosses are bad, and if they're all bad, it still wouldn't give you a right to initiate force in them.
Okay, there's millions of oppressing bosses today, and you don't think that those workers have the right to overthrow them?
Dude, the problem with you using language is you don't understand what oppressive means. You're using oppressive. You're using oppression measures to exercise your ideas, and then you call it the capitalist oppressors. No, you're oppressive, dude. You're the oppressive guy here, man.
That's
you're the
European.
Evil guy here. You're the evil guy. You're the bad person in this conversation.
That's your opinion because you're
this philosophy and ethics are not an opinion. I know that you think it's an opinion, but this is just based on the empirical world. And the empirical world says it's universally wrong to initiate force on someone because you're initiating force on someone. That's what you guys are doing. Capitalists don't do that. You have to make that up to justify your initiation of force and then claim it's in self-defense. No. No, if workers initiated force on me, they're the aggressors.
They're the aggressors because you find them to be the aggressors. If the workers strike, and if there's a general strike, and your profit source is being cut off, there's a general strike. Nobody's sabotaging anything. Nobody's trespassing on anything. There's just a general strike.
I'll just hire more workers and pay them less or more. Who cares? This is not a problem.
What if there is also a boycott?
What if? Yeah, I get it. You're just making changing the stories after you find out it's bullshit. No, never. It's never right. Never.
I'm just explaining a hypothetical situation.
All you're doing to me is showing me how messed up you are. I know you're messed up.
You're showing me how messed up you are.
Okay. So why are you talking to me? Can I go?
You're calling me a piece of shit. You call me a piece of shit. You call me. You basically.
Anyone who wants to take my company is a piece of shit. I think I have a right to say that.
Everyone that wants to oppress the working class is a piece of shit in my point of view.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
I know you hate us. I know you want us dead.
You're
offended. You're offended that I call you a piece of shit, and I'm not supposed to care that you want me killed.
I don't want you to die.
But that's what you're advocating. Like, do you not understand that?
Ancaps. If you don't Ancap, the Ancap logic. If you don't agree with my view on property rights, then you want me dead. You look like Stefan Molynuex saying that.
Good. I love Stefan Molynuex. I aspire to be like him. Is that supposed to be some kind of insult to me?
That cult leader.
Yeah, that cult leader. I love that fucking cult leader. I would suck his fucking dick. That's how much I love him.
He said that if you talk to anyone that believes that the state is necessary, then you're being a hypocrite. That you're not an anarchist.
He teaches me that anyone who wants to initiate violence on me is not my friend, but my enemy.
So if your mom doesn't want to, if your mom thinks that, well, paying taxes is not that wrong. It's social security is good. You'll just stop talking to her.
Yeah.
But she believes it.
Dude, she's a bitch. She's a bitch, and the reason why we have a state is because most people are like that. Most people are like you, and they repeat the violence.
So if your grandmother just thinks, oh well, dear, I think the state.
Dude, I broke up with my family. I have defooed. You don't have to tell me about this. I don't speak to my family anymore because of this reason. This is how it's important to me.
Holy shit! I'm talking to a defooer.
Yes, you are. Problem?
No. Your choice. It's your choice. Personally.
Shit! What does that mean? What's that mean? Oh shit! I'm talking to a defooer. What does that mean?
I think I'm talking to basically a cultist. The way I see it's basically a cultist. The way 1,000 people see, I'm talking to a cultist. Dude. Okay, let's calm down, please. I think our conversation is getting pretty hostile. I think you should calm down.
I'm pretty calm, dude.
I'm pretty calm too, but I think our conversation is getting a bit hostile.
I call it fun.
Stefan Molynuex said that if you're an anarcho-capitalist and you don't defoo and cut relations with anyone that believes in the state, then you're a hypocrite. That you shouldn't even be called an anarchist.
You think that he's wrong about that?
Yes, I think he's completely crazy.
Why?
I think that's a cult practice. Basically, cults do that. That's how cults act.
But is there any truth to what he's saying? Is there any reasoning in what he's saying?
I think it's just crazy. You know, I don't see any reason in that. Just cut off relationship.
Look at this in another way, all right? Defooing. I used the against me argument in the first video I uploaded. What I was asking you is if you advocate people using force against me, and you said yes. So how can I be friends with someone who wants to use force on me?
Okay, I'm a communist, but you seriously think that it's not crazy to just completely cut ties with someone just because he believes, okay, public education is something good? Because, okay, I think the state is something good.
We're not defooing because of that. We're not saying public state is good. We're saying that people are willing to use force on us, like what you're doing. It's not that communism is good. It's that we advocate a system where people will use force against you. I don't like those people because they would use force against me.
You seriously think that just because someone believes in the state, they believe that it's completely right to kill you?
Yes. Isn't what the state is? Prison and guns and threats of jail and death?
No, I think you're someone that is dogmatic and fanatic in his beliefs.
Yes,
to the point
I'm fanatic that people should initiate force on people. I'm fanatic about that idea. Is that wrong?
I think being a fanatic is wrong. I think it's if you're a fanatic, basically you're closed off to everything else.
But aren't you a fanatic? You're closed off to anything other than communism. You said to me that you've sunk deeper. Even though I've used every argument I can find against communism.
I wasn't convinced by your arguments.
Well, there's nothing else, dude. If you're not convinced by this, you're never going to get out of it.
Who did you defoo, and exactly why? Abusive?
My dad was very abusive to me. He would hit me, he'd yell at me, threaten me, my life. Now, my family not only enable that behavior, but supports that decision based on their own insecurities. I defooed for that reason.
Okay, if you had a friend, you had a really nice friend. Okay, it's a what if situation. That's great.
Dude, I just told you one of my deepest secrets. What do you think about that?
I think it's your parents were messed up if they just abused you out of their necessity of abusing you. That's really fucked up and messed up.
No, what's fucked up is what they had excuses. They told me that I earned it, that I deserved it. And what's fucked up is that people like you who use abuse also use the same excuses and reasons, that capitalists are naturally oppressive. And that justifies the initiation of force. That's what I'm pissed off about. If you want to be abusive and evil, just be open about it and say it. And say, the first thing about communism is that we want to kill or oppress the capitalist class. But you guys don't do that. You have to hide and say, this is about equality, this is about justice and social security and about no one suffering. To hide the horrors of what you're doing. That's my main issue. This is why I defood. This is why I hate the state. Because the state does the exact same thing.
Killing every capitalist, I'm not saying that every communist is for that, because I can't speak for every communist. I personally, I'm not for killing every single capitalist in the world just because he's a capitalist. Okay, I'm not for that. I think that it's a bit too much. Just kill someone.
Oh, how nice! You're like the nicest person in the world. Go on, continue.
What you guys are doing is just cutting off relations with anyone that has a different opinion than yours. Okay,
no.
You believe that.
No, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. All my friends have different opinions. I love that they have different opinions. What I don't be friends with is someone who's willing to use force on me. That's the line. That's the line. And children. No force on me or children. That's the line. I can't be friends with anyone who crosses that.
If someone believes that the state is necessary, then he believes in using force against you?
Yes.
So how many statist friends do you have?
Not a lot. I have a lot of Ancaps friends, and they're so fucking much better than statists and communists. Oh my god.
You have Stefan's friends defooing anyone that believes in the state, and you still think that people won't look at you and start to think you're just a crazy person. Okay, defooing is a cultish practice, you know.
Unless we have good reasons to, then it's actually healthy. Are you saying I don't have good reasons? You know how much it hurts hearing you say that to me? Are you trying to hurt me?
No, I'm trying to say that
because you are hurting me. You're calling me crazy for defooing. Defooing is one of the most healthiest and hardest things I have to do, and you're putting it in my face like you're some kind of what? You're trying to hurt me.
I'm not trying to hurt you, man.
I don't know whether they like you or hate you. Sometimes I like you, sometimes I hate you. You do some really messed up shit. You're basing this on emotion and not basing this on empirical reality.
I'm not basing anything on emotion. I just think that it's completely crazy to do something like defooing. Okay.
Okay.
I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm 30 years old. I go through my friends really quickly. I break up with my girlfriends. I broke up with my family. Break up with status is the most easiest thing you can do. I don't like status. They're really into use of force. Every time you talk about something real, they run and hide because they don't like talking about this shit. I know how fucked up the world is. I know, it hurts, it sucks, I hate it. But I prefer to spend what short time I have with people who share the values I have, and it's not that big of a value not to want to initiate force on anyone else. You advocate an idea that's willing to shoot capitalists over producing goods. I can't be anywhere near that.
Not producing goods. Owning means of production just creating hierarchy.
I can't. That's not healthy. I can't get anywhere near that. To me, it sounds the same thing as wanting to initiate force over blacks or Jews or communism or capitalists.
Okay, that I'm not advocating force against the capitalist class anymore. Mass strikes and boycotts, no occupation, no sabotage. I am now advocating peaceful revolution against the capitalist class.
What we call that is anarcho-capitalism.
A peaceful revolution against the capitalist class, and you called it anarcho-capitalism?
Yes. Well, you can't... Is your position of boycotting every business there is?
Yes.
Well then...
Every business there is, completely recreate society from within.
So what are you going to do? You're going to go to the woods and build a home out of nothing? No tools?
No, we're going to cooperate and start to building our own homes and start to
boycotted businesses, right? Businesses can't help you with that.
We pick up what we have.
What do you have? You have nothing. What do you have? Boycotting businesses is boycotting the market. No market.
Okay, we're outside of the market. We will start society from zero. New civilization.
Okay. I'll give you 2 days. Impossible? 2 fucking days, man. You and Cameron in the woods. Yeah, that'll be fucking hilarious.
I'm fine by me. If Cameron wants to go if Cameron and 100 other communists want to go to the
couldn't
woods,
serve ice cream at a fucking factory properly. You think you guys can rebuild society without trading with other people?
and you're going to wait and see us act and strike and boycott and create a parallel system and create cooperatives.
No, we're gonna say, oh, those communists, they're so silly. Look at what they're trying to do. Isn't it cute? Look at them boycotting and striking and wearing their red and blacks and marching on the street. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. That's what I say.
It's not communist, dude. We're not going to stop trading.
Yes,
we're
that's
just
what
not
capitalism
going
means.
to trade for
Trading,
profit.
free trade, private property rights.
I'm not against trading because trading is necessary. Even I give you the example. In a communist society, a cooperative will like trade strawberries for bricks because they have too much bricks and they have too much strawberries. They just want to do it for profit.
They're capitalists. People
They're doing it because they want to help each other and cooperate.
We call those capitalists.
That's capitalism. You call trading not for profit, only to cooperate and to help each other. Capitalism?
Yes, private property rights.
Congratulations, you're a communist.
No, communists say that, but then they say rules what you can't do. You can't use money. You can't use it for profit. You can't use it to pay workers. You put all these restrictions on it, and then say, now this is communism.
Yes, this is communism because this is a system opposed to capitalism.
But capitalism is a part of communism. You just add some asterisks saying production is only for the collective. Do not apply for profit. These terms and conditions apply.
Those are the conditions of the communist system.
Yes, they are.
So what?
So what?
That's how communism works. Communism is not based on. We are communists because of what? Because we think that the system of private property and capitalism has generated way too much poverty and inequality and violence and oppression. Because they are oppressive bosses, they are exploitative bosses. They exist. They always existed. Okay, just because your first world boss is such a great guy, then your first world boss is such a great guy. That's really fine. I mean,
all I'm hearing is propaganda you've read. This is what your books do to you. They damage your brain. I get all the arguments, man. It's just bullshit. Religion says the same thing. Sexism says the same. It's just bullshit, justifying what your violence. They're oppressive.
That's
we need to liberate the market.
Opinion.
That's not an opinion. It's a fact. What you're telling me, this is your opinion. This is what I'm basing it on. I can understand the difference between reality and your fiction. You're giving me a lot of fiction. This is what the books. All these books are just a bunch of people trying to brainwash people into starting a revolution.
We're not brainwashing anyone.
You look pretty brainwashed to me, dude. I'm giving you some pretty good reason. You're gonna find better reasonings than what I'm giving you now.
I'm not trying to brainwash you. I'm giving you away my arguments.
You are. You're trying to incite hatred to me that the capitalists deserve it, that the capitalists are oppressive, that we're justified in doing this. That's what we call propaganda because it's not real.
I started as an anti-communist. I was an anti-communist before I became a communist. I really hated communism. I really loved capitalism. I really, really, really loved it. I think it was the best system ever. But I started to think in a different way.
How did you do that? Teach me how you do that, please. Please. Can this happen to me?
I started researching the history of capitalism and the state. I started reading Marx and then Lenin, and then I rejected Lenin for his authoritarianism.
Yeah, but I've done the same thing. But it only pushed me away from that. It's like reading the Bible and discovering religion. It just pushes you away from that.
Just like you never feel that capitalism has oppressed anyone or has been violent to anyone or has caused violence or poverty. You don't feel that. That's why you support capitalism. I feel like capitalism is an oppressive, violent system. I feel like that capitalism. Why we have this system? Because people are happy with it. You know why in Brazil people are.
It's because there's guns, dude. It's because there's guns pointing at the people by the state. Is why. If there's no guns, it would flourish like any other country, like any other country is supposed to do. But everyone has guns pointing at them from the government to the business owners, which you communists won't help, but actually make it worse. Which is why freedom and prosperity doesn't flourish.
I think that's your opinion because in the 1970s,
you gotta stop saying my opinion and my feelings and my. This is philosophy.
Because it's not philosophy. If it's just that's how I say that's opinion. That's opinion.
Not an opinion. Okay. This is empirical philosophy, fact stuff. This is why we're different. Because you make up reality. I don't.
I don't make up any reality.
You know that creating communism means oppressing people.
Creating communism means oppressing some people.
Yes.
Because it means destroying the previous system.
Yes.
Yes, that's communism. It's destroying the previous system of capitalism.
That's objectively evil.
That's objectively evil because
you're initiating force on someone by saying that initiating force on someone is bad.
To create the world of anarcho-capitalism, you need to first destroy the old world of statism.
And we don't have to destroy it, we just have to outgrow it.
How will you outgrow it? The state is everywhere. The state can just get...
All the state is people who believe in it. People who believe in using guns to enforce their opinions. People like you. That's what the state is. I'm trying to teach people how important it is to use reason and not use force, but you reject that. The majority of the people in this world think exactly like you.
You seriously think that no capitalist in the 19th or 20th century profited from imperialism?
I'm sure people made money, yes. I'm sure people made money from it, sure.
You really think that the big businessmen and big business never backed the state, never really supported the politicians?
Yes, we call that crony-capitalism. We're against crony-capitalism because of the state, not because of capitalism, because of the state.
But crony-capitalism is a form of capitalism.
No, it's a form of the state.
No, it's the state mixed with capitalism.
It's guns.
No, it's a state mixed with capitalism. It's the state backed by the capitalists for profit. Not all capitalists, but some capitalists for profit.
But what makes it evil is not the profit, it's the guns, because guns is used to hurt people. Money isn't used to hurt people universally, it's used to help people.
What makes it evil is that the capitalists back this to get the most profit.
Yes,
okay?
Not all capitalists. A lot of capitalists suffered from that decision. Crony-capitalism, it's the state that has the guns. It's what you said about Hitler yesterday. Crony-capitalists supported Hitler because they're the ones that gain from it. That's what we call lobbying. The thing is, this isn't fixed in communism. In communism, your representation will be also corrupted and bribed by specific individuals who gain from those decisions.
There is no money in communism.
It doesn't have to be money.
No profit, no.
It's something of value, whatever is valuable in communism.
So a direct democracy where they elect representatives merely to basically say what they want to say. Basically,
that's more power than the individuals in the collective. That's a representation of the collective.
I'm going to give you an example, okay?
No more examples, man. This is going to be like another 4-hour conversation. We're not getting anywhere. My arguments are not doing anything. You're just jumping from topic to topic. I'm editing my videos now. I have 14 parts, and every time I give a good argument, you jump onto another topic, and I have to edit that out. We haven't reached any conclusions. This is just a big, massive waste of time. Personally,
I know that communism is a system that when it's reached and when it's created, it's better than anarcho-capitalism. It's more just.
Sure. But communism is defined as that utopian state. You have to get there.
It's not. I don't see it as just utopian state.
No money, no class. That means no value, no trade. Everything's you abundance. You don't have to pay for anything. No supply and demand. That's a utopian view.
No, I wrote that thing basically how I saw a communist society. Okay, basically it's a decentralized federation of cooperatives.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a good deal. How can you not fall in love with that? It does sound appealing. That's not wrong to like that idea.
Tell me, is something like poverty going to end, or like misery or hunger is going to end in an Ancap society? Will those problems be solved?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not. The very objective of communism is to end those things.
I can't promise that because I'm not stupid. I can't predict the future. I say that it would be the best solution and solve those issues, but I don't know. You don't know if communists will do that either. You're just basing that on a guess.
The objective of communism is to end those things.
Yeah.
It's the objective of the whole system to end all those things.
Yeah, they could be wrong.
The objective of
they could be wrong. The objective of anarcho-capitalism is to stop initiating force on people. That's it. We don't make any promises about poverty. You guys do.
what guarantees do I have that an anarcho-capitalist society won't just turn into chaos?
Need? Is that what you need? You need guarantees to make up your mind? Because there's no guarantees in communism either. Well, you want me to say that everything's going to be perfect and everyone's going to live in luxury and be fed? I can't promise that.
No, not everyone is going to live in luxury. But basically, he has two options: either to submit himself to the authority of the boss, willingly accept it, or to live like a bum.
Why can't he mooch off his friends or grow his own crops? Or
he doesn't
beg,
want to mooch off his friends.
Steal?
He doesn't have.
It's a false dichotomy. You only give me one or two options. There's many more options here.
Do you really think that's moral giving? Okay, you either work for me, or submit yourself to my authority, or you can steal.
Compared to what? Compared to what? Not letting him work for anything? Just saying, well, sucks to be him. You saying not doing anything versus not doing anything or giving him a job is a worse option?
There's a growing communist society, and the market is dying because capitalism is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and basically there are markets that are just disappearing because nobody is buying them. Do you think that capitalists will just sit still and not act against communism?
No, I think capitalists will close down their shop and walk into communist land and live the rest of their lives very happy, not able to work anymore. That's what I think will happen.
Do you really think that they will give up their position as rich, privileged people?
They're not going to be rich and privileged once communism becomes successful. They'll go and just wander over and join your perfect society.
But if they don't want to?
Why will they let them suffer alone? If you guys are winning, you guys are winning. Who gives a shit what they think?
Okay, in a revolution, we are winning. In a revolution, people are voluntarily joining us.
In a revolution, you got your boots to these people's throats, telling them how evil and immoral they are for operating the means of destruction.
The means of destruction? Are you calling...
Production, sorry.
A capitalist loses its business and its profit in communism, and then
the way I see it, it doesn't have to be communism. It can be anything. It can be technology. It can be our competition. It could be the state. There's a lot of examples of rich businessman going from riches to rags without killing anyone. They just accept it
because they have an option to start another business.
Yes, we call that freedom.
What if the market is dying and
you don't know what a market is, dude. Don't talk about economics with me. You have no idea about economics.
The difference is, in capitalism, I do it mostly because I need to do it, because I need a job, because I need a job to eat and to live, and because I'm doing it for profit, to get money.
The only reason why you're getting money is so you can trade that money for something you want and need.
The only reason why I'm doing something is because I like to do it, and because that plays a role in society, that keeps society functioning, and I'm a useful person, okay? But I do it because I want to.
But you need money to know, like, there's no, like, you go around asking people to paint houses, all right, where's your paintbrush going to come from? Where's your paint going to come from?
From the cooperatives making the paintbrush.
And you're just going to go to them and say, can I have some paint? And they'll give you paint.
Yes. Either to literally to the cooperative, or the cooperative will produce, send it to this big warehouse, or I can just go and pick up what I need.
So, a shop with no cash registers.
Yes, a free shop, if you want to call it. Is it that hard to understand?
It absolutely is so hard to understand. Yes, that's so hard to understand. And I'm surprised you're not aware of what you're saying and how this can't work.
Why?
Because why would they make paint? What colors would they make? How would you know? What type of paint? Where would it be? Who's in the shop? How much paint do they need to make? Is it safe? Who regulates this stuff? There's just every question you ask, there's like 10 other questions to answer. Now money answers all those questions. This stuff isn't fixed by eliminating money.
It is.
It's not.
Okay.
It's made worse.
Why?
Because you need that value system. You absolutely need it, because supply and demand is a real thing. We need to know the supply and demand ratio of certain products and services. We have to know. It's important information. And all that is in the price of something, how much something is compared to something else.
Then there is a great demand for paint, so let's make more paint.
Yes. The more rare something is, the more expensive it becomes. And the more expensive something becomes, the more bosses want to make profit over that and fulfill that demand.
This place, the free store is managed by the community.
But no one's going to care if people are evil and they just take everything. Like if I was a painter,
people are not evil. People are like divided like 50-50.
Oh, so capitalists are evil. Yeah. Like communists can't be evil.
I'm not talking about that, okay?
Look, I'm saying this is a problem because if someone loves painting and they don't want you to paint, they can just take every paint if it's for free.
Why would they do that? Because they want to help fulfill the needs of society.
What if they don't want to help the needs of society? What's in for them?
If they don't, if someone doesn't want to help fulfill the needs of society, then okay, he'll just do nothing all life long and be a useless bastard. But ultimately, they're going to be a tiny minority.
You don't know people, man. You do not know people. Why the fuck would I work if I can get everything for free?
Because you like to work? No, because you like to do something?
Mm-hmm. Well, if it was up to me, I'd get high all day and play games and make videos like this. No one pays me for this shit.
But then you'll be contributing to society by making these videos explaining.
I don't give a shit about society. You think I like society? Fuck society. Why would I do that?
And I'm the psychopath. Fuck society.
Fuck society. They like statism. They love war. They love waving their flags. Why the fuck should I make shit for these people? They're ungrateful. They're idiots, and they're evil. Most of them.
Then why do you do something? Why do you own a company?
Because I get money.
You're making stuff for society.
Yes. I get paid for that. Do you think most people do work for free? It's like, seriously? You think people do it for charity?
I think that people will do it because they like to do it, okay?
The thing is, if you're wrong, it's a disaster. If you're wrong about people, which you are...
So if it's a disaster, then it will not work, okay? It will not work.
Yeah.
Seriously, I gotta be honest, you're turning me statist, okay? Because anarcho-capitalism seems to be such a crazy system.
You already are a statist, dude.
I'm not a statist.
Yeah, you're willing to use force to get what you want. That's what we call statism. You just call it communism. It's not my personal opinion. This is reality.
Okay, you guys call anything you don't like state. I really don't like that Ancaps call themselves anarcho-capitalists because you're not anarchists. You are laissez-faire capitalists. You are like right-wing libertarians.
We're against the state, though. We're against the state. I mean, what's the point of saying anarchy if you're not against the state? They have the power. They have more power than capitalists.
But anarchy, it's not just the rejection of the state. It's way more than that.
It depends on, like, the word anarchy is so wild used now and all sorts of different definitions. I understand that argument and I think you're right, but it still has to mean against the state, like in the guts of, just against rulers. Anarchos, no rulers. It's Greek. Now I understand it's been hybrided, butchered.
A boss isn't a type of ruler.
No. No more than like a parent or an older sibling or someone who has more experience. No.
A boss doesn't have more power than the worker at the bottom.
I don't think that's appropriate use of the word power. He has more decisions, more responsibilities, not power.
He doesn't have more power. He doesn't have more money. He doesn't have more freedom to do what he wants. He doesn't have the freedom to just go say to a worker, bring me some coffee or bring me this or that.
The problem with using this argument is if you use this argument, you have to universalize that, which means parents to children is an oppressive relationship because that follows every single one of those criteria as well.
Well, a parent it's a biological relationship. There's a biological bond between parents and children, and parents need children.
It doesn't matter. So, are you saying that families can't be capitalists? Family-owned business are not capitalists because there's blood in that and biology. See, this is what I mean by universalizing.
Okay, it's a family business. It's a family.
Is it capitalism or is it communism?
It's not communism. But it's not it's not like a capitalist. I said it's like a small business owner. It's like those really small business owners that work for themselves.
But you can't do that. You can't do that. You're creating separate capacities. It only because you're initiating war in the capitalist class. You have to be very specific on what capitalism means. And what you're saying, capitalism means this, and this. But sometimes they cross like a family business. And then you have trouble labeling what they really are. So where does the force go? Are they moral or are they immoral?
Okay. A worker is... Communists see hierarchy as bad because hierarchy generates oppression. Okay?
I know.
If there's a hierarchy.
But they create a hierarchy. Democracy. People. Collective. We went over this yesterday. Right? See, that's the problem I have with communists. They're not universal. They make rules and then they give themselves the exceptions to those rules. If these things are so bad, then you can't use those in your own community.
If there's a communist system and some individuals start to think that they want to become capitalists, they can go ahead and try. But if there is no currency, if there is already a system based on cooperation and solidarity, there wouldn't be any way that they could become capitalists.
Right. If your utopian system comes to life, then there'll be no need for capitalism. I get it. But what if it doesn't? What if it's a horrible disaster and there's shortages and people want capitalism again? If
it's a horrible disaster and shortages, then I'll stop being a communist.
Well, isn't there examples of that all over history?
Of authoritarian socialism? Yes. That's why I'm not an authoritarian socialist. Of libertarian socialism? Not so much. The examples that we saw in history, okay, they were short-lived, but generally they worked pretty well. You know, even in a situation of war.
Short-lived doesn't mean pretty well.
In the physical world.
What's the name of this? I'll look it up now. What is this? What are you talking about?
The anarchist territories of Spain. You never heard of that?
I think I have, but not the quite way that you have been saying it.
No, I'm talking about the anarchist territories of Catalonia. You never read Homage to Catalonia?
Yes, someone gave me an example on my YouTube channel, and I read about it and found out it wasn't a stateless society, but you ruled with force.
You ruled with force. How? There wasn't a state.
Let me find it. This lasted 3 years.
Yes, I think basically 3 years.
Okay, it says trade unions were under the control of most of the economy and military forces. In command. Trade unions were in command. How is that not a state?
Because there's no such thing as a centralized power. It was a bottom-up. Direct democracy.
It's called the Catalonian Generalitat. Isn't that it? The state.
They
became
felt
ministers?
threatened and they felt threatened and they decided to accept
control of the National Ministry of Justice, Industry and Health and Commerce, respectively. How's this an anarchy group? It sounds like the statists.
They felt so threatened they decided to accept this position because they think, well, we either do that or you're all going to die.
Many anarchists outside of Spain criticized their decision for entering government. There was also concern about anarchists about the growing number of Marxist communists within the government. How interesting. It's just like all our arguments we've ever used. And look, history supports us. Has that changed? Does that change your mind at all?
No, because they felt so... What happened? They were attacked. They felt so threatened. They decided to, okay, let's forget our ideals for a second and let's be realistic and join the government. But
so they became the authoritative.
Because there was no other option. It was either that or...
There's not going to be an option, dude. When this communist thing fails, as it does, because you ignore economic reality, people are going to become angry and do their own thing. And so the socialists will have to enter government and force people not to do that, which they did. We have an example here. And you're using this as an example of your society. We're using this as an example of a society that failed for the exact same reasons we're giving you now. I'm giving you now.
It failed because of the force of the fascists. Okay, they felt so threatened, then they decided to join the government.
Okay, so they joined the government and became a state
because they felt so threatened. Because they felt that their lives were in such a danger that they needed to do this, or they were all going to die.
They did it in self-defense. They created a state in self-defense and ruled their citizens.
The citizens chose them. though the citizens were voluntarily choosing them.
The majority of
them. the vast majority.
Not the minority, not the individual, not the capitalist that might think it'd be better.
In an Ancap society, there might be also a minority of people that doesn't really like that system.
That's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah, no one's forcing them. There's no one with a gun to their head. They can do whatever they want. If they want to start a cult, they can start a cult. If they want to start a communist community, they can do that. We can't do that in your community.
Nobody is using guns, okay? It's a natural system. The system works in a way that there's no private property of a means of production or currency.
If there's no guns, then it's a free society. That's what I want.
Exactly. Communism is a free society.
But it isn't. You initiate force on the capitalists.
Capitalism was born out of initiating force against people, out of privatizing land.
All right, man. I think we did this for. I think it's best if I go now.